Hey folks, we're back. I'm your host, BKP. We are at Circuit World here in Blue Ridge, Georgia, and it is time for tax tips, H&R tax tips with Beth Bennett. How are you?
I'm good, Brian. How are you today?
Good. You look spring. I like it. Is that the feeling you have?
I hope it stays.
You hope it stays?
Yeah, I'm not a fan of winter.
Not a fan?
No.
Well, I like it. Good. Wearing white, you are dangerous here. Living on the edge. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Well, Monday's a big day.
Monday's a big day. It is the filing deadline for the business returns of corporations, partnerships, trusts, and estates. So
Monday's it.
Monday's it. So start gathering your documents.
Get your stuff filed.
Here's that filed. Don't forget to.
Now, what if? Let's get right to that. Now, Monday is a deadline. Now, this is a business deadline for filing. It's a lot of pressure, but that's what you guys do, and that's how you guys work under pressure. So if somebody says, you know what, I've been working, I'm so busy, and I got to find all the receipts in the floorboard of my truck. You've had that happen.
Never.
You've never had somebody go back out and say, I think, no, I've been that person, so I am not judging. No passing judgment here, okay?
Lots of us work out of my car.
Right. So
my car's always a mess because I work out of it. So
have you ever had anybody bring in the shoebox?
Shoebox. And I think the strangest one we had was, you know the bags that comforters come in, the plastic bags? I think that might be my strangest. We've had coffee cans and...
That's good.
And tote bags.
And we are not, that's called Small Business America. We love it. Now, they might wish you did a little more organizing,
we'll help
but
them get it together.
You'll help them get it together.
Not on the 15th. If you want us to do that, come a little earlier.
But let's usually we close with this, but let's open with this. It is time, you guys, I don't want to say you work weekends, but I bet
we do.
You have.
We do.
Okay. And you make special appointments, and because Monday is the day, can somebody still call you and say, I just got all my stuff, can I bring it in and make it happen?
Absolutely. We will work with you, whatever you need to get your tax return filed timely. If we need to file an extension, you can do an extension, and then that'll give you to September 15th. But it's always best to file on time.
It's best
I preach that all the time. File as early as you can. That way there's no identity theft, because you don't want to come in April 15th because you owe, and we file your return and now someone else has already filed in your name. A fraudulent return, got a fake refund, and now you have problems. So the earlier you file, even with a corporation, a partnership, trust, estates, any of that, the best thing you can do always is file as early as possible.
So if you're out there and you're really busy, and we know you are, and you run a small business or large business, but you've got things going on, and it's time to get this done, and you need to get it done ASAP. Look to Beth Bennett and H&R Block. They can make it happen for you. Monday's the deadline for filing. Yeah. Okay, so what was that? How did that go? Is like, I'm so confused. We're all confused. We don't know if unemployment's taxable, not taxable. If what we're getting now, we have to report when, and the new child credit, blah, blah, blah. We don't know. The government is doing...
This is my quick reference guide to the changes that impact us in your stimulus and your tax return.
That's the quick reference guide.
This is the quick reference. This is the brief summary. This is not like full. It gives the highest lights, right? What the questions are going to be. And so the big thing is about the new stimulus. It's $1,400. It is $1,400 for your dependents as well. We don't know when that's coming out. They said they'd get it out as soon as possible, whatever that means. December 27th, it happened. Lord, I think it happened within a few days for some people. And then other people, they're still reconciling on their tax return and trying to get it.
Now, there's a place on your tax return that if you did not receive it, you put it in.
Well, no matter
did you-
what, you have to put the amount you received or didn't receive. So if
Right.
you received 0, we put 0. If you received 600, we put that. 1,200, whatever that amount is that you received, and they're matching that up in the background to make sure that you got the right amount according to your tax return. If you got more than what you should have, then you're not required to pay it back, but by reconciling on your tax return, you will receive the additional amounts or the amount you're due for your stimulus. For this new stimulus that's coming out right now, the only way to claim it, if you don't receive it for whatever reason, lost in the mail, changed accounts, whatever happened and you don't get it, to claim this $1,400 per person will go on next year's tax return in the spring of 22. So
Okay.
if you don't get it now, you're not getting it. It'll be next year. They did clean that up about, keep reprocessing.
So, this is the quick reference guide.
And is that not
So,
crazy?
if
There's
you
so
got,
many.
if you received federal unemployment last year, if you received enhanced, that's taxable.
So for the new law that passed, and it does go backwards to January, so if you've already filed, we can amend that once the IRS updates their forms in their system. So that one's going to take a little bit of time because the IRS has to change tax forms to accommodate that. Then we have to make it work in the system. Then they've got to get it out to all their software providers. They've got to get it written into their systems. Then it has to be tested. Then we'll be able to make the changes on tax. It's a lot, right?
Slow down.
So that's
Slow
gonna
down.
be
Pump the brakes,
a
as we
while.
say.
All right. So tax-wise,
No, wait a minute. You can't gloss over something that, this only works so fast. I'm sorry. Are you saying that they passed things this week, yesterday, that actually are retroactive in last year?
correct.
That if you've already filed, you may had to file a amended return.
An amended return. It's just a. It's
Okay.
just
I will see if
the
I
name of the
catch up
form.
to that because you were running right along there.
So they made
What are some of those things? I bet you have those.
Just really the unemployment is really the only thing, and I want to make sure I'm at the right amount because they changed. Look at all the amounts they got. Unemployment. So if you are, and I'm going to read it just because because it's very detailed, but I don't want to do detailed. You can exclude up to $10,200 for a single person or $10,200 on a tax return for each spouse. So if you're married and you both received unemployment, you got $20,000 now of non-taxable income. That's not in the systems to claim it yet. So if you haven't filed, you can wait for the systems to update, or you can file now.
Folks, I am so thankful we have her and her great staff to try to keep up with this. I'm so thankful that somebody out
lot.
there.
We haven't even hit on like most of the things in there. There's
You
child
want
tax.
to start hitting on some
No,
of it?
I mean, it's a lot. So really, just be sure you've done research before you do your tax return. If you don't use a professional, I mean, I recommend us, but I said this all last year and the year before because of all the tax law changes and now the stimulus and a tax law change in the middle, smack in the middle of tax season. Use a professional. You don't want to miss a credit that you're due. I mean, that
And
can
right
make a
right
big
now,
difference.
right now, when we're talking about some things that are retroactive, and if you've already filed your taxes, you may have a more refund coming. And,
Exactly.
And so, what are some of the other items you wanted to talk about today? I know the way things are moving. Action items are right there today. So I know there's a lot of questions we have, but what are some of the things that you want to make sure we share with our viewers today?
Really, I think that the two things, the highest, most important that everyone is looking at is the $1,400 stimulus payment, and that you're up to $10,200 is not taxable of unemployment. And that's federal and state, so it doesn't matter, right? That combined amount on your federal return. Now, we don't know
Wait a
what
minute,
Georgia's
that's federal
doing.
and state? Is
It's
that state
unemployment.
too?
Yeah, because you received your federal on your state, so there's no differentiation on that form.
Okay,
So it's a matter of how your total
so
unemployment.
is
Total unemployment.
is the state getting money from the government to replenish the coffers of what they're going to give back?
I don't know. You're the government, man.
I mean, no. I mean, I am so
I think
confused
that's how
because
it's working. Yes,
because if you are the state of Georgia, if you are the state of Georgia, and you had X amount of people on unemployment, and generally the way it works is when you go in and fill out for your unemployment, they'll say, do you want a full check or do you want it taxable? Doesn't mean you're exempt from the tax.
correct.
But if you say, okay, taxable, then actually money comes out of that and goes to the Department of Revenue of the state of Georgia, which is calculated in tax revenue the state receives throughout the year,
Same as the federal government.
right? And now that has to be given back, right? And who gives it to the state and says, oh, here's your 25 million?
All that magic happens somewhere else. So the details of that,
Did
don't
I
know, but
start by saying I'm so confused?
It's really, and people are confused, and so don't feel alone, and there is help. You know, we would love to help you at H&R Block.
No, I really, I
studying
mean it every single week when we get together. I sincerely mean it, but you know, in the past we have talked, and Beth and I have gotten together for several years now and shared things with you, the viewers out there, tax tips. And we've always talked about the reasons why you should use a tax professional.
Yeah.
I guess today I can't stress any more how important that is any more than today, that it's really important to come sit down with a tax professional.
You don't want to miss a credit. I don't want to give them $1 more than what I'm supposed to, right? So
You want to brag about your team a little bit?
I do want to brag.
There's
about
that one lady. What's her name?
me.
No, not you. That other lady.
You want me to
Joking.
Call
I
one?
shouldn't say.
Oh, you
No.
want me to call one out? I'll get in trouble
No, I
for
will
that.
get in trouble.
Yeah.
No. Okay. So I don't want to get in
Okay.
trouble.
All right, so back to businesses real quick.
Okay.
If you're a business return, you're due on Monday. Make sure you have your end of year bank balance. We need that total. Make sure you claim your interest. Have your auto expenses. You can either take actual expenses on your vehicle or your mileage. If you're doing your own, it's one or the other, not both. We can compare and see. 99.5% of the time, it's better to take the mileage. It's a nice higher rate. What else do we have on there? If you purchased any new equipment this year, you want to make sure you have that. There is that special depreciation. You can wipe it all out. It could make a big difference for you this year if you bought something and then things didn't go the way you planned. Depreciation is a big help on a tax return, so you'd want to make sure you have that. If you canceled any debt this year, if as you're a business and you canceled debt with a credit card or a company, you may get a 1099 for that. That is claimed as income. Sorry to say. Use of your home for an office. If you work out of your home as this business, we get to take that in your tax return. So make sure you get that. A lot of people miss that credit, and that's a big deal too. That can bring a lot of money. So those are the big things we want to make sure. Monday's the deadline. Come and see us.
Because I have a studio in my house. No, I do.
No, really, and so you can
Right.
take that portion.
I have a home
Absolutely.
office, and I actually do my show from my studio in my house. So
Absolutely, you get to take the percent of. So if you just for easy numbers, if the house is 1,000 square feet and you use 100 square feet for your office, right? Then that's the percent. You take on your tax return for your, like if you pay rent, that's the easiest scenario. You pay rent, so that percent of the rent is tax deductible, right? Because if you were a business and you rented a building,
right.
it's fully deductible, right?
Right.
So just that portion. Now make sure that whatever you claim as a home office, all that's in that room is office stuff. A lot of people, work at their dining room table and claim that, and they have made some exceptions to that.
Can I get any kind of can I get a credit if I've taught the dog how to use the copier, or that's kindly out?
Do you pay them?
Do I?
I don't know.
Treats. There you go. Hey, I don't want to
There's
get.
another business.
I don't want to get confusing. Not that the government's
The
not.
bank gives out lollipops, so I'm
Not
sure
that
they
the
take that
government's
off.
already confusing enough. Hey, folks, Beth Bennett, H&R Block, Tax Tips with Beth Bennett. We got to wrap up, but let me say this, okay? a full team of professionals. She has several locations. You can find her. You can find it H&R Block.
HRBlock.com.
Beth Bennett, HRBlock.com. Several locations all through North Georgia to help you. Trained staff, very good qualified staff in all the locations. Just a great group of people. And they are ready. Now, they have business hours, but if you call them and you work late or you're trying to get all your stuff together and meet the deadline Monday, they will work with you. They will work with you in any of your tax filing. And also, they handle year-round accounts. So don't just think tax day, year-round accounts, and there's more. There's even more.
Payroll.
Even more. If you call now, I feel like I'm giving away the free prizes, but if you call now, if you go sit down with them and do your taxes, they will also help you with next year's game plan.
Absolutely.
And that is big, okay? Planning in advance will save you money.
He's our commercial. I love it. Great job.
That's it. That's all I have today.
Me too.
I have to go home. Sun's shining.
I know. Who wants to work on these days?
Don't give anybody the day off.
I'm going to a picnic with my granddaughter at the park for a school field trip. Isn't that nice?
I love it. Let's get her to the picnic. You could share this, and it's great information with your friends. Tax tips, H&R Block with Beth Bennett on FYNTV.com. Go there. You will see tax tips right there, their own section with all the segments. Share them with your friends. Monday morning, 8 a.m. I will be right back. It's almost like right after these commercials, it'll be Monday morning, 8 a.m. FYN TV, and we'll be back.